interesting how the landscape changes so much. We're only probably 20 kilometres out of Mount Dare now, and the road becomes all rocky. It's been sandy, then it becomes rocky, and all the pasture here, it's just flat and open, and yet they graze cattle here. It makes you wonder what they eat. Have a look down to the side here. We've come from over behind those hills, way over there.
Proof that we were here. My daughter will give me shit. She said, "You're swimming in your hat."
So no, I'm not swimming with my hat.
You could always drag the bloody lifesaver ring out of there and go for a float.
Could do, yeah. It's probably attached quite well.
Maybe all the pool noodles have been chucked in, they've been wind drifted down the far end. There's probably some pool noodle bloody store in the middle of the friggin' bottom end of the Simpson somewhere.
Today's our second day of coming east across the desert. We left Mount Dare yesterday, and we only went as far as Dalhasie Springs because we wanted to we actually wanted to spend the night at the springs. It was only about 70 kilometers from Mount Dare to Dalhasie Springs. We had a swim in the springs yesterday, because the springs are about 36-38 degrees, and it was actually quite a hot day yesterday, so it wasn't exactly refreshing, but it was very nice and warm. And so we stayed there last night, true to what the locals said, that the mozzies come out at night time and just about carry you away. So we had some good insect repellent and that worked quite well. But we had a good night's sleep. It was a bit windy yesterday, and a lot of the sand tracks today have been blown over, and there's absolutely no sign of any other cars having been along the sand tracks. You can see here where the mud's been, you can see where everyone's been. But once you get under the sand, it's actually really pleasant driving, because it kind of fills in a lot of the dips and hollows just from the breeze. So our plan today is to get somewhere between Dalhasie and Popple Corner, and then we'll camp the night there. Tomorrow night we'll probably stay in Popple Corner, and then into Birdsville the day after that. It's just such a beautiful landscape out here, just lovely. Got a whole bunch of wild donkeys. Well, right now we're on the very western end of the dune area in the Simpson Desert. You can just see the dunes just starting to form up at this western end. They're not very high, just little dunes by comparison to the rest, but this is pretty much where the dune system starts. It's quite ironic how it just appears out of nowhere. There's a big southwesterly breeze blowing today, so there's actually a lot of dust in the air. As we've been driving along some of the sandy parts of the tracks, you can just see the sand blowing across the tracks. We've actually picked up another person in the party now. We've got a guy in a KLR 650 called Simon, who's riding his bike across the desert, and his mate, an old Land Rover Ute, who was his support vehicle, snapped the chassis in the Ute, and he's still out in the desert and is going to get onto Mount Dare and organise a recovery. Simon's continued on, and I've put his fuel in my car, in the back of my car, so I'm carrying his fuel, his camping gear and everything in my car, and so he's going to stay with us the next 2 nights in the desert. And he's got a radio, so he's just sort of riding ahead for about 10 kilometres and stopping till he waits till he gets radio contact with us, and then rides on again. I love the colour of these dunes, just love being out in this country. As they come out the top, look at that for a view. Just magnificent. They're probably about halfway across the French line. We're going to go till 5 o'clock today, we've agreed. It's 4:30 now, so we've got another half an hour before we find ourselves a... Whoa, where to go? Around there. Got another half hour to go yet before we call it quits. Afternoon sun's starting to turn the dunes that lovely shade of red that they do in the afternoon. Looks beautiful. I've always just liked the way that the green trees and the red sand and the blue sky all sort of combine together to make a really nice scene. Obviously a bit soft on the top. I love how the green trees really stand out against the desert. Bye.